This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Friday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV. And, of course, SiriusXM Channel 158. It's Gil Alexander. That right there is Kelly Midland. Happy day after the draft.
That's right. You know what's funny? I've said that a couple times, or day after just the very first round of the draft.
That's right.
But, the one we care about betting on the most.
You can still bet on the second and third round.
Absolutely.
Tonight, second and third rounds. I think DraftKings has some stuff up. Prediction markets certainly do. It ended up being a fine draft. A very good one. Not as good as the great ones from the old school yesteryear, but like a notch right below that. Ended up being great. We'll get into all that. We'll review the first round. We'll talk about the NBA games last night. We'll talk about the NBA games tonight. Paul Carr will join us. Talk Premier League and FA Cup as well. How about that? The FA Cup.
Oh, all right. There we go.
That's always the one that sort of sneaks up on us. But he's here to always remind us.
That's the one where they play the multiple levels of English football against each other.
If you say so, yes.
Like 98% sure.
I think so. Chris Felica, Steve Fezzik. That's the Friday staples. They will be here. Chris Felica, on the heels of calling it Ty Simpson to the Rams, which he called on the Beating the Book NFL Draft podcast 8 days ago. He gave an impassioned speech about it. He also did it here on the numbers game, and it happened. In the words of Jim Lampley, when George Foreman knocked out Michael Moore to regain the heavyweight championship of the world more than a decade after he had it the first time. It happened.
It happened.
It happened.
You know what else happened? It was one of my highlights of the night was the me spoiling that for Gil and him yelling at me on text message, basically. Shut up, Kelly! Stop texting me.
So that's my first. Can I just say that? It's my biggest pet peeve with the draft. I had to.
Yeah.
First of all, I wasn't yelling. There was no caption.
No, I know. But I took it that way.
I had to tell you and Will at one point. I was like, "Can we please not do this? Can we please let people enjoy the draft?"
I have to tell you my draft night story, but we'll get to that later because it is part of the story.
Okay, that's just my one pet peeve. I was like, but you all were good about it. Y'all stopped doing it at that point.
I got stuck in a spot where I couldn't hear the draft, so I was almost forced to follow it. Yeah, okay. So I didn't think. I was being selfish.
That's all right. And then Steve Fezzik, of course, who is already if crack is unscripted, Fezzik is, I've got a script, and here comes a whole bunch of stuff. So he wants to talk about the Westgate, obviously the Caesarification, as somebody said on Twitter, of Westgate. And he wants to talk about all kinds of things in sports betting. And I have much to say about what he sent, by the way. I got some pushback on some stuff. Bring it, Stevie. Can't wait. All right.
I got a sports book story later for you that is going to hurt your brain. When you think you can't be surprised anymore in this.
Is it worse than anything that's ever happened to me in these sports?
No. It's just silly. It's just silly.
NFL draft yesterday. We'll get into the NBA. We'll get into all that. We'll update the Killer Sports Killer Sports VSiN Challenge in the NBA as well. So the draft begins. Fernando Mendoza goes to the Raiders. No surprise there. I do want to say this about this, though. All the reports are that Roger Goodell tried to get some NFL heavyweights like Peyton Manning to sort of impress upon Fernando Mendoza. We really would like to have you in Pittsburgh at the draft itself. We really would like you to come. Fernando Mendoza was like, no, I want to be with my family in Miami. His mom, by the way, has multiple sclerosis. It's not easy for her to go anywhere. I just find it so gauche that Goodell would not understand that and would pressure him in any way to do that. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
I really hope there was not much pressuring. Every one of these guys should be able to enjoy this experience however they would like to.
All right, well, Kelly, I'm not going to pressure you to come to my party, but I'm going to get 3 heavies to come over to your house and pressure you to come. And then the Raiders did the whole thing where they almost ran out the whole clock before they made their pick. Always enjoyable when that happens with the first pick. You never know when someone's going to throw 5 firsts at you.
You know what I love better than running out the clock? It's everybody standing up and congratulating each other. Hey, we got our guy. We got our guy. Great job.
Bro, you stepped on my next comment, which is, and then we see the first war room of the night, right? Which is the most ridiculous one because they already knew who they were going to pick a long time ago. And they congratulate each other as if they got Bin Laden.
It's so great, man.
As if they got Bin Laden.
It's every year. It's one of my favorite traditions.
Oh, my God. All right, then the real draft started. This was the pick that was going to start the shenanigans. We did not know that there was going to be a whole different tier of shenanigans later.
Yeah.
But we knew that this was, we were talking about this afterwards. Was there ever a pick in a draft where the betting market flip-flopped as much as two did between David Bailey of Texas Tech and Arvell Reese of Ohio State? I don't think there was.
Yeah.
Yesterday, during the day, all of a sudden it swung back to Arvell Reese. After we were off air, it swung back to Arvell Reese. The betting markets did to go number 2. At Bookmaker, it was north of $2 favorite on Arvell Reese because I think somebody saw that David Bailey took the Jets' name off one of his social media. I don't know what it was. So they're like, oh, my God, let's bet this. So to the notion of what's smarter, markets or mock drafters, I think both failed yesterday, to be quite honest with you. Bailey was even reported to have gotten Reese was even reported to have gotten even higher than that to go number 2 just before the draft. Anyway, Bailey is the pick. The Jets go with David Bailey, and bang, Gill is on the board. Young Gill with the plus 230 right out of the gate.
There you go. I like it.
Let's go. And then, shout out to Peter Schrager because of all the mockers. Peter Schrager got 1, obviously, but 2, 3, and 5 dead on.
Yeah.
He got Bailey to the Jets. He got Jeremiah Love at 3 to the Cardinals. And he would get Arvell Reese at 5 to the Giants. Shout out to our own Jensen Lewis, who had, as I drove in today, 50-1 on Arvell Reese at number 5.
Matt Hicks in the back, who helps direct this show. I think he had 30-1 on it.
So the Cardinals go with, let's continue. So the Jets get Bailey. Again, we're not talent evaluators, but we are sort of broader NFL, right, commenters like we were last year when the Raiders drafted Ashton Genty, and you and I both said, maybe he'll be good, but it's a luxury pick for the Raiders. It's not exactly a good situation. Same thing for Jeremiah Love. I'm sure he'll be good at football, right? He's Jeremiah Love. All indications, all talent evaluators say he will be. What could go wrong? But he's with the Cardinals, and I don't know. It's such a luxury pick, especially at 3. But they go with him, so they go with Jeremiah Love. Again, shout out to Schrager for getting that. And then the pick that changed everything.
Yes.
The Tennessee Titans at 4, who, for most mocks, we're going to get Jeremiah Love, but Jeremiah Love was going off the table. If you figured, but on the run-up to the draft, we're like, oh, they're going to go defense. It looks like Robert Saleh. Everybody's saying he's going defense. Not one mock drafter had him going here, and I'm talking about Carnell Tate, wide receiver, Ohio State, who was thought to not even be the first wideout to go as the draft came up, right on the run-up on the final days. He goes 4 to the Titans. What?
You and I have been talking about this past couple days, right? It's been all we've been hearing is Jordan Tyson, but not only that's all we've been hearing, we haven't heard a peep out of about Carnell Tate. I haven't heard a single thing about him in weeks at this point.
Not one mock drafter had him going 4. By the way, Schrager got everything else in the top 5 except for that one. And remember, he was the guy that the whole run-up to the draft, I'll keep saying the run-up, the whole stretch when we were talking about the draft last month or so, I was saying he's the guy that I have the least idea where he's going to end up. I had no clue beyond that comment that he would end up at 4. Anyway, he goes 4, and so this sets off what I think then is the cascade of NFC East, here we come. Arvell Reese, I'm talking about NFC East defenses. Arvell Reese goes to the Giants at 5. The Chiefs, good on them, right? To replace Trent McDuffie, they trade up with Cleveland to get Mansour Delane from LSU. Then Washington gets Sonny Styles of Ohio State, and I'm going ballistic. This is the guy that I said I wanted the whole time. Sonny Styles, the linebacker of Ohio State, ends up in D.C. Then it's Jordan Tyson to the Saints. Second wideout selected. Thank you, Luke Swain, for giving us that one on the podcast, on the Beating the Book NFL Draft podcast, that he'd be the second wideout selected. Spencer Fano goes to the Browns after that trade at 9, and the Giants then, with their second pick that they got in the Dexter Lawrence trade, they could have taken Caleb Downs. Instead, they decide to go offensive tackle with Francis Mauigoa. I get it. At some point, I guess you do. How many pass rushers and defensive studs? By the way, if you're playing the Giants this year, what's your whole strategy? We're just going to run at all of you.
Right, yeah, exactly.
While you all chase we're just going to run straight up at all of you. Anyway, Giants, good on them. 2 great picks, according to most. And then the Cowboys, I think, did the smart thing. They trade up 1 to grab who I think is the last remaining stud in the draft with Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State. They get him at 11. So that Carnell Tate pick at 4 allowed the Giants to get Reese at 5.
Right.
I think allowed Washington to get Styles at 7. And with the trade, got the Cowboys at Caleb Downs at 11.
You know, the way I said it to Danny earlier was like almost after that pick, all of a sudden you're looking up of who's next, and you're like, well, they have far more guys available than we thought there was going to be for them, right? And it kind of just, like you said, set off a series of that.
I mean, we'll have Felica on later. Chris Felica, the Bear from Fox Sports, our buddy. He'll be on. Not only did he call Ty Simpson, we haven't gotten beyond 11 yet, but Ty Simpson obviously to the Rams at 13, which shocked everybody in mainstream media. And by the way, seemed to have shocked Sean McVay a bit. If you want to know the truth, based on his post-draft presser, he'll be competing with what's my kid from Georgia?
Stafford.
No, not Stafford.
Oh, Stetson Bennett.
Yep, yeah, Stetson Bennett, the other kid from Georgia.
The other
Stafford,
kid,
yeah. He'll be competing with Stetson Bennett for the second string job.
I
think Sean McVay should have listened to the Beating the Book podcast because he would have known they're taking Simpson at 13.
I have a feeling we're gonna end up making too big of a deal of that. Like Sean McVay, like they're already trying to make it like this big divide, like that they were not on the same page. Like McVay isn't at that point where he could put his foot down a little bit more. If that was really the case,
felt like he didn't know. Anyway, you're not the point of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Point of the whole thing, which we'll get to how we did on all this, and we'll continue talking about it. Ruben Bain with his short arm length lasting all the way to 15, where the Bucks couldn't resist taking him. You sniped me with Ioane at 14.
Yeah, I got that one.
More on the draft on the other side. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Get VSiN Pro for just $9.99 for your first 30 days and start betting with the edge serious bettors rely on every day. Access expert picks, real-time odds, and actionable insights across every major sport. Plus, get player prop projections powered by Opta AI, daily picks delivered straight to your inbox, and betting guides for every major sporting event. Visit VSiN.com/subscribe for just $9.99 and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
Coming up on Friday's episode of Money Moves, we've got a great slate of guests to join us. Zach Cohen, host of Hardwood Handicappers, will be on the show. We'll get his thoughts on the Friday matchups in the association. Can the Houston Rockets cover as 10-point favorites? I would say no. We'll find out if Zach agrees. West Coast is the best coast in hockey as well. A couple of matchups out west, Vegas and Utah, Edmonton and Anaheim. We'll get Stormy's thoughts on whether or not Vegas can take a big series lead on the road. So join us. It's Money Moves, 11-1 Pacific, 2 to 4 Eastern, only on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Don't forget the website in full effect mode. Kyle West, break it down. Greg Peterson's MLB best bets, Keeneland horse racing picks, EPL weekend best bets, and coming up later today, Zach Cohen's Madrid Open tennis picks. What a day for us in tennis yesterday. Oh, we got to get our tennis picks up here. Day 2 NFL draft best bets, NBA and NHL playoff predictions. All of that is our spring special as well that you can get on the website. Get full access through August 1st for $59 just by getting to VSiN.com/subscribe. Gil Alexander, we get tweets of beating the book. I didn't even check the old Twitter machine. By the way, the computer's working now back on Twitter. How about that? How about that? Trojan Ram. Yo, I thought the Rams were in win now mode. Instead of drafting fellow Trojan alum Mekhi Lemon, we got Trey Lance 2.0, who will sit behind Stafford for God knows how long. Did I mention I hate this pick? Well, I guess time will tell.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, look, I don't think there's going to be any much immediate positive reaction from Rams fans today.
Brian Point Schaefer, he says, just tuning in to see a smile on Gilly's face because of the Commanders' first pick. Oh, I was so happy. I was like a 10-year-old. I was like, Sonny Styles, baby. I cannot believe he fell to Washington. So awesome. Fred Courier, see you all 10 o'clock East Coast for the show today. We're here. Lance S., I had a monster night from the plays I got for VSiN, and the host/guest all started off by watching Gil's draft podcast, won roughly 20 units. Also have some plays still pending. Good on you. By the way, so we'll get to our draft picks. I just want to get these tennis ones out again. So 2 days ago, all of a sudden, I have just been very little tennis picks on clay. 2 days ago, 5 picks, went 3-2. Yesterday, 8 picks, went 5-2. One was a walkover. 4-0 on the ladies' side. This morning, I only have 3 plays today. One is already in. That's a winner as well. Solana Sierra, plus 116. She took down Magdalena Frech in straight sets. I like to say Frech when it's really Freck, I think.
It is.
Solana Sierra takes down Magdalena Frech in straight sets, plus 116. Winner for us on the overnight. We have 2 tennis plays still to come today. These are both on the men's side. This should be coming up pretty soon. Cam Norrie, baby, plus 118 versus Tomas Mahach. Would you have gotten that pronunciation correct? Mahach.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have really?
Yeah.
Spell it? Okay.
Well, we've done
Mahach before.
Yeah.
So Cam Norrie plus 118. I'm going to check the price right now to see what it is. This is on the overnight. Again, for subscribers, VSiN.com/picks. They're in Europe, obviously, being in Madrid, so time zone issues are why you will not get all the plays on the show, but subscribers get them all. They get all of them. Yeah, Norrie's plus 115. You can still play it, only a few cents worse. And then later, Rafa Hodar, Spanish sensation, minus 105 versus the Aussie Alex de Minaur. You can get this right around the same price as well. Rafa Hodar is taking the men's tour by storm. Clay, not de Minaur's best surface. Demon, not great on the clay. Norrie and Hodar, 2 remaining tennis plays of the day. Back to the draft for a second. Brian Schaefer's a Philly fan, by the way, so thank you for being so kind and gracious for congratulating me on Sonny Styles. Did you see the this is neither here nor there, but did you see the Mekhi Lemon interview with Laura Rutledge after the Eagles drafted him?
No.
Full sunglasses.
I was in a location where I couldn't hear any of this, yeah.
And the Stevie Wonder sort of head motion with the sunglasses, you know, when Stevie gets to talking, his head back, and like turned his back to Laura Rutledge. Look at the crowd. First of all, never turn your back to Laura Rutledge.
Never.
What are you doing?
Don't show any disrespect like that.
Not only disrespect, but like you have eyes.
And
so, Mekhi Lemon, great football player, but that was an alarming interview. Let's put it that way. Whereas some of the other guys are such great kids, right? Like Caleb Downs, such a great kid. Sonny Styles, such a great kid. And Mendoza, the greatest kid of them all, right? Just what a great... I know some people aren't into it. Some people aren't into the 1,000 words a minute thing, but I think it's refreshing anyway. Anyway, congratulations to... Here's my final tally on my bets. I had 10 of them in the end. I go 6-4 for plus 5.34 units. I will take that. Shout out to Felica for the Ty. I didn't do Ty Simpson to the Rams, but I did Ty Simpson under 24.5 at 3-1. So that was a big one. Shout out to Felica for that one. Otherwise, I got really good numbers. Thursday night of last week, that was the exact timing of this, a week before the draft. Caleb Downs over 9.5 got a plus 164, which was just too good to resist. That was just a great price on that. And then the David Bailey the same night, second overall pick at plus 230.
Yeah.
Those three made the draft. Those three plays made the draft.
Yeah, those were great. I lost a whole 1 unit on my 5 bets.
That's okay.
Yeah, like we talked about, I knew it wasn't going to be a heavy bet one, regardless. I'll tell you, though, I got the only two I'm regretting not making, because we said, like, the top 5. Jeremiah loved top 5. Like, we brought that up weeks ago at this point, and never bet it. The other one that we were talking, Danny and I were talking about, the other Notre Dame running back, Jadarian Price, going with the 32nd pick.
I brought that up 3 weeks ago. Remember that?
Well, it's the only mocks I saw with Seahawks was him every time, unless everybody thought they were going to trade out.
I want to say that was Schrager too, but don't hold me to that.
I think you're right.
An early mock where he had Jadarian Price at 32 to Seattle, and we talked about it on the show that if that happens, that cashes obviously the 1.5, the over 1.5 on running backs, but keep your eye on Jadarian Price, who I think of all running backs that ever be drafted in the first round has the least mileage, has the least stats to go by.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be bad, by the way.
And then I
interest you in Timmy Smith from Texas Tech, who ended up being a Super Bowl MVP. Didn't play his whole senior year, I don't believe.
And then, of course, Gil, and I don't know if you ever thought about this at any point, but Ty Simpson goes 13. All of a sudden, I mean, I got entertainment out of my 100-1 Carson Beck ticket, because Simpson goes 13, and you're like, whoa, this is all of a sudden live. If someone gets greedy at the end of the first round, wants to go grab a quarterback.
So you and Will had the same reaction. When Simpson went 13, it was early enough where you're like, oh my God, okay, this could happen for Carson Beck.
And maybe we're just wildly wrong on these quarterbacks, right? Like, Simpson goes early.
Because teams justifiably get quarterback crazy. But you know what? Down the stretch, I don't know if you felt this way, because by this point I had turned to basketball because the Hawks and the Knicks were getting once 15 and once Thieneman was over 17.5. That was the end of my bet, so I turned to the Hawks Knicks. But I was watching the ticker at that point for the rest of the picks, and I just never got the vibe that it was going to happen for Carson Beck. It'll happen tonight, though.
Maybe.
Maybe. You say.
I mean, like, now I don't care. Now I hope he goes in the 5th round.
Wait, before we get out, you have to tell your story.
Oh, my God. It's, like, so lengthy. Okay, so Matt Fountain Blue, Father's in Town, and Matt Brown joined us, too. We're watching. He did the great lead-up show here on VSiN, and we're in the Fountain Blue
Shout out to
Sportsbook.
Humans and Tim Murray, who did the show during the draft.
Carry it all the way through. My dad's in town. He loves the NFL draft. Loves it. So we're in Fountain Blue Sportsbook, and we're trying to watch everything, right? I'm watching NBA, trying to watch the draft. And we show up like at 4 o'clock, so the draft's like an hour away. And they got NBA and NHL playoff games going. Volumes loud. There's a bunch of Knicks fans in there. Everybody's having a great time, right? My dad's like, where's the draft at? And I'm like, they got it on the small TVs. Don't worry. It's an hour away. They'll turn it on, right? 5 o'clock rolls around. Okay, draft time. They're not putting it on one of the big TVs. They're not putting the audio on. So we're like, what the hell is going on? You've got all these people pouring into the book, wearing jerseys, all this stuff. And I'm like, all right, let me go up to the counter, ask. Person at the counter doesn't know anything. I'm like, the sportsbook manager, someone here, right? Manager comes out. And I'm like, hey, like, NFL draft's on. Like, we're going to throw this on a TV, put the audio on? Like, that'd be great. Like, you got a lot of people out here. He goes, it's playoffs. It's playoffs time for NHL and NBA. We're not going to do that. It's playoffs. I'm like, why? We take way more bets for NHL and NBA playoffs. And I'm like,
no.
And at this moment, I'm like, should I tell more about like what I do, or should I just play a little dumb here? And I'm gonna play a little dumb. So I'm like, yeah, but like you guys don't really book the draft, so this is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
100%.
If you don't have bets at the book because you don't book that much draft stuff, and he's like. Well, no, we book draft stuff, so no, that's not true. I'm like, okay, very, very, very limited. And I forget where I went next with this. So I'm like,
this is infuriating, by the way.
Like, it's mind-blowing, right? And I'm like, you see all these people wearing jerseys, right? And I'm like, there are a lot of Knicks fans, right? So I'm like, who's watching this hockey game? Can you point to anybody here that's watching this hockey game? No. And then I get on to the next point.
The Vegas local people way overrate hockey. They're so Golden Knights focused. They have no idea. It's just,
It was wild. And then I'm like, okay, so you took a lot of bets in the playoff games. Got it. What's the number one sport that you take the most amount of bets in a year? The NFL. I'm like, this is one of the biggest nights of the NFL of the year. What are we doing here, man?
Oh, dude.
It was wild. They never changed it. They never changed it. Refused to put the audio on any of the big
Drives
TVs.
me crazy.
It was insane.
Drives me crazy. By the way, not overrating hockey, overrating the interest level in hockey versus something like the NFL draft.
I forget how many things I said to this guy too. Because I'm like, by the way, it's like the home. Not that this matters as much to me. Hometown team. There's like 10 people wearing Raiders jerseys here, and they have the first pick.
I also have another pet peeve: bettors who say that you shouldn't. Like, how could you possibly know about the NFL draft? Why would you bet something like that? Which I hear some people say.
Yeah.
Just stop talking. Stop talking. It is tried and true. Yeah, we had a couple speed bumps in the last couple years, but tried and true, one of the most profitable things ever. And as I say that, I hear the voices of Derek Stevens and Christy Andrews in my head going, exactly. And that's why we don't like it. We'll give you some other first-round betting highlights. And the NBA last night, got to get into that in tonight's games as well. It's a numbers game right here at VSiN.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big. We go all night. And here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
Laptop or phone, couch or sportsbook, VSiN goes where you go. Wherever you watch VSiN, the experience stays seamless. Live shows, replays, and sports-specific clips all at your fingertips. VSiN Watch puts you in the driver's seat. Available in Roku, Samsung, Amazon, iOS, Android, app stores, or get it direct from the source at VSiN.com. Download VSiN Watch today on your favorite app store and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Sports Betting Network.
Free picks backed by real analysis. That's Just Win Bets, baby. Mathematical models and AI-driven best bets across NFL, college hoops, NBA, NHL, UFC, soccer, and more. Plus a live weekend preview every Friday. Subscribe to YouTube, follow on X, and get their free daily best bets newsletter at justwinbetsbaby.com. You can scan the QR code for more. They already had Wyatt Tomczyk on. Apparently Kelly Bidley is going on the show. Mm-hmm. And then I guess I'm going on too. I guess so.
Yeah, they're trying to get
we appreciate all the invites. We really do. JustWinBetsBaby.com. We get tweets beating the book. I'm just gonna rifle. These are all people just going nuts over their draft wins. But here's some new ones. Dan Groeschel is a fan of the Packers. I watched a win now team take a quarterback in round one twice. To quote the biggest headache in the NFL, Rams fans need to relax. Relax. It's a great point by Dan Groeschel.
Yep.
It really is. And I've always said on this show, back in the day when I was a kid, the thing was you got to hold the clipboard for 2 or 3 years. And I'll just use my Washington Redskins, right? Trent Green ended up being solid NFL quarterback, got to hold the clipboard for 3 years. Mark Rippon was a Super Bowl MVP, got to hold the clipboard for multiple years. Stan Humphries got to hold the clipboard for a few years, ended up in a Super Bowl with the Chargers. Jordan Love got to hold the clipboard for a few years. And people are like, oh, he stinks. No, he got to hold it for a few years. You don't get to see that these days. He's actually a pretty darn good NFL quarterback now. So you never know. If Ty Simpson is afforded that luxury, maybe he ends up that way as well. And if you're Dan Orlovsky, you already think he's great.
Yeah.
Let's not act like we know stuff. It's a good tweet by Dan.
It's a great tweet, and like I heard Traeger this morning, kind of explaining it for the Rams, right? Of hey, you made your win now move earlier by getting Trent McDuffie in the building, and you don't plan to be picking this high ever again. So you go grab the kid now, quarterback now, while there's other teams not running after him. Look, if you like him that much, it's hard to argue. And the one thing I'm getting a little tired of here these past couple years, Gil, is we keep saying, well, yeah, next year's draft class, though. And it's like the past couple years, that has not panned out. It has not looked as good come draft day as it looked the year before.
We had a couple more of those, by the way. Kevin Ryan said Gil to the Rams fans complaining about the Simpson pick. The same was said about the Knicks pick 2 years ago. Talk about Bo Nix. Mickey Baca, Rams taking Ty Simpson reminds me when the Packers took Jordan Love instead of getting the Rodgers wide receiver help. Rodgers went on to win back-to-back MVPs. Does a Stafford MVP ticket interest you, he says? And Kelly, how are we feeling about the Knicks in a bounce-back spot on Saturday? Well, hold that thought. This is the last thing. It's throwing stuff
That's
now.
how I feel about it.
It's throwing stuff. I almost didn't say stuff, by the way. Here's the last thing on the NFL draft for now. We'll get back to it later. But here's just some of the big tickets, some of them. Tate to go fourth was 15-1. I don't know a human being who even uttered it, let alone had that bet.
Danny and I were put together this list this morning. I'm like, I expected this number to be longer.
Me too. When I just saw that 15-1. Arvell Reese going fifth overall pick plus 850. Jensen said he got a 50-1 on this. Jensen said he had a 50-1.
Yeah, just timing.
Timing. Yep.
Yeah, this was yesterday closing odds, I think.
Mansour Delaney goes sixth. Happened via trade to the Chiefs, 28-1. Ty Simpson 13th. Ty Simpson's 13th specifically, 15-1 to be drafted by the Rams was plus 550. Although Falika gave that out, it was much higher than that. Reuben Bain Jr. 15th overall, 18-1. Kenyon Sadiq to be drafted by the Jets, which is where he ended up, the lone tight end in the first round at 13-1 out of Oregon. All right, to the National Basketball Association, and specifically to that Knicks game yesterday. That was the first of the tripleheader yesterday, and the Atlanta Hawks have themselves a 2-1 lead in their first round best-of-7 series, the 6-3 series in the Eastern Conference, where, remember, the Hawks wanted this matchup. So we'll spend the most time on this game because the other two were kind of straightforward. But Atlanta was down 9-6. They went on an 11-0 run to make it 17-9 early. Hawks matched their biggest lead to that point at the end of the first quarter, 33-21, a 12-point lead. Lead got to as many as 18, Kelly, 56-38. Knicks would close the half on a 12-2 run, 58-50 at the break in favor of the Hawks. Then at 58-52, Atlanta would go on an 11-2 run, boost the lead back up to 15 at 69-54. Then the Knicks would have an 11-0 run to cut it to 69-65. The lead would shoot back up to 13 before settling in for an Atlanta 88-80 lead after 3, and the fourth quarter would be a slog. Hawks would lead by 11, 96-85, but 7 unanswered brought it to 96-92. Now it's 101-96 with under 4 minutes left. Hawks are up. Anunoby 3 to cut it to 101-99. McCollum under 3 minutes with a jumper to put it back up to 4. Then Anunoby, another 3, 103-102 Hawks at this point. Johnson layup made it 105-102, and then Miles McBride with a splash 3 to tie it at 105-105 with 141 to go. McCollum blocked by Cat. Brunson, 7-foot floater, and one. Knicks lead 108-105 from 18 down. What a story. 103 left. The Knicks have come all the way back. They're going to win this game, right? No. Jalen Johnson, layup, 108-107 Knicks. Hart misses a 3. Offensive board, Brunson, air ball, 19-footer, shot clock violation. Hawks ball down, 1 with 16 seconds to go. Will they hold it for 1? No. McCollum pull up 3 seconds into the shot clock. Good. 109-108 Atlanta. Knicks have the ball now. Plenty of time. The possession is a mess from the start. Brunson tried to get it to Hart. He got penned in down below the basket. Tried to get it to Hart. Hart couldn't control it. Ends up fumbling it. Clock's running out. Kuminga steals it. Ball game. Hawks 109, Knicks 108. Up 2-1, as I said, heading to Game 4. And as to the question on Twitter, Kelly, how you feeling about your Knicks now?
Knicks basketball. It's exciting. No, I will not be. I will not be chasing after them in Game 4. I will ride out the rest of my series bets and see how this goes. It is. It's bad, man. It's bad. You've got coaching staff scrambling for answers. Miles McBride, plays 31 minutes last night. Puts up 10 threes, 14 shots overall. Third.
Anunoby 29, Brunson 26 in defeat.
Yeah, look, Jalen Johnson bounced back at home, had a good game, 24, 10, and 8 for him. I don't think that was a huge shock to see. Also wasn't shocking to see in the first couple games hold him back. Story of the series so far to me, Gil, it is Jonathan Kuminga has found a coach that trusts him and is willing to put him in big-time minutes, and he is delivering right now.
I'm going to say it every game, and people are going to be like, I think you've said that before, but I'm going to say it as a running joke. You know who uniform he really looked good in? Jonathan Kuminga? A Warriors uniform. McCollum 23, Kuminga 21, by the way.
Yeah,
I'd say McCollum is really the story to me. He's just so reliable.
No, he's been great. You don't have the massive advantage on the glass like you did last game, although Cat did show up. That was nice to see. Big game, 21 points, 17 rebounds from him. Honestly, he needs to be getting up even more shots than he is. 12 shots per game. It's not enough. This is a series. I mean, the Knicks are still too good, in my opinion, to this. I don't think this is going 4-1 Atlanta or anything like that, but I think we're going to see a lot of these tight games, and it's Knicks, you got to close. You got to close. It was a problem in Game 2. It was great to see you push and have the comeback in Game 3, but those last couple possessions were an absolute disaster.
Brutal. Hawks get the money because the Knicks were favored by 1.5 at close, and it goes over the total, which had gone down all the way to 214.5. The other two games, Toronto and Cleveland. Toronto led by as many as 9 in the first quarter, 21-12. They led 31-25 end of first quarter, led by as many as 10 in the second. But Cleveland came back to take a lead, and it was tied at the half. 54-52, they took a lead. 54-54 at the half. Third quarter, Raptors up by as many as 7, but it was only 83-81 after the third quarter. And then the fourth quarter happened. 91-90 Toronto. The Raptors dominated the rest of the way. 35-14 the rest of the way, including 16-0 run to go up 25 at 124-99. They win at 126-104. Both R.J. Barrett and Scotty Barnes end up with 33 points, 20 Cavalier turnovers. And so the Raptors are on the board. Cleveland, home court, everybody's held serve so far in this series. Cleveland up 2-1, Game 4 back in Toronto this weekend. And then the T-Wolves take a 2-1 lead over the Nuggets, your Nuggets. We learned before the game that Aaron Gordon was not going to play.
Yeah.
And
I had to buy off some of my bet, but I still let some of it ride, and I've got these Denver series bets. They ain't looking good.
It looked like the Nuggets didn't want to play at that point because the T-Wolves blitzed them. It was 25-11 after the first quarter. And at 43-29, they went on a 12-3 run to boost the lead to 23. It was 61-39 at the half. They led by as many as 27 in the third. They led by 20 after 3. Denver never got within 12 from that point forward. 113-96 Minnesota. Jokic 27-15 in defeat. How about Dosunmu with 25 to lead the T-Wolves with 9 assists? And Jaden McDaniels backs up his mess, his schmack talk, with 20 and 10. By the way, note this 3-pointers in this game, dreadful.
Yeah.
Was it 17 for 66 combined for 25.76%? So
Jokic 2 for 10. His 3-pointer's broken right now.
So big under in that game for underbettors as well.
34% from the field overall for Denver.
Right.
This is pretty impressive by Minnesota.
We'll get to the games tonight here coming up, but let me just ask you this. One of the Hawks or Timberwolves wins their series. Who is it?
Timberwolves.
Yeah.
Timberwolves. I think that I even would have said that before the series though too. I mean we've seen the Timberwolves do this before. I mean, quiet last night. Anthony Edwards worried about injury stuff. He was in foul trouble and he had to play 24 minutes. That's big. I mean, if Aaron Gordon's out,
it's over.
It's probably
the way the Nuggets played last night felt like it's over.
Yeah, and Jokic that three has been terrible.
All of a sudden, it's short game, not great either. We'll get to the 3 games tonight next. And Paul Carr on soccer.
VSiN's player prop projection tool is now available for the NBA. Get projections for points, assists, rebounds, and more powered by Opta AI. On VSiN.com/NBA props, we line up our projections against the latest DraftKings odds so you can quickly spot mismatches and find value before the market adjusts. The NBA player prop projections tool is available exclusively to VSiN Pro subscribers. Check it out now at VSiN.com/NBA props and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Your favorite VSiN shows and personalities are now available to download as podcasts. Catch every hour of our live broadcast with VSiN Best Bets, or find your go-to show and download it directly. Get instant reactions to last night's games, sharp analysis on today's biggest matchups, and everything in between. Whether you're commuting, working out, or just catching up, VSiN lets you take the action with you wherever and whenever you want. Search VSiN on your favorite podcast platform and get in on the action with VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Numbers Game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back on the Numbers Game, live from Circle Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. Gil Alexander, Kelly Bidlin, producer number 9. So much more than a producer. Still on the show today, Falika and Fezzik.
Let's go.
Yeah, the comedy duo Falika and Fezzik. Paul Carr standing by to talk Prem with us and FA Cup semifinals. What was I about to say?
That's right.
I have no idea what I was about to say. We get tweets of beating the book. This is from Purple Kevin at 1111, who talked about Crack yesterday. Says, always so great to listen to on the radio. Always appreciate his honesty and stories. I also feel horse players are the worst. Crack was talking about that yesterday. Their time is way more important than ours. Derby should be great. 6 great horses. Great show, Gil. Thank you. NFL totals. Oh, what was this? This was React. Oh, because David Purdom came up with Imperial Palace. We were trying to figure out what was in place of the link, what preceded the link there in the middle of the strip. And David Purdom from ESPN said, Imperial Palace. And he's like, what do I win? I said, I'll check the prize closet. And NFL Total said, you probably have a Manscaped in that closet still for him. Okay, maybe so. Chris of St. Bart's. Sweet hit on Ty Simpson. All credit to Chris Falika on that one, Chris. And Chris adds, tailed your Caleb Downs plus 9.5 as well. Glad you did. Vig Hater. Totally admire what you do. Appreciate your time day in and day out. Even if I can't listen every day. Solid all around. Thank you, Vig Hater.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Giuseppe Beda. Big thanks to all of you. Had Simpson under, Simpson first round, over quarterbacks first round, Simpson to the Rams after listening to your shows. I guess Mitch and Paul, he included as well in here. Now we just need Beck first round. And I can thank Kelly Bidlin.
No.
That didn't happen.
Bull.
Yayo. Limited on Fanatics, but holy blank. Shout out Chris Falika. He had Ty Simpson going, he had Rams first pick being a quarterback. So many ways to bet it, right?
What were those odds?
Those were
you sent you a screenshot?
15-1.
Okay.
Jesse Welch, big time shout out to Chris Falika on the Rams taking Simpson. It pays to listen, y'all, in caps. Let's see. Nate Green, listen to a ton of draft mental. He has a word for them because I like to waste my life and nobody had a nugget like the Bear had on Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
John Balducci, thanks Chris Falika, 22-1. Simpson to go 13 overall and on. They'll break it down with all these. One more, Jason Williams, many thanks. Had Rams first pick at quarterback at 13-1 and Ty Simpson to the Rams specifically at plus 650.
That was like one of the first draft takes we had too. It felt like Falika brought this up weeks ago. At this point,
he actually himself was sort of talking about it way back.
I know, a long time ago.
Still before the Natty even happened.
Oh wow,
that it could be a thing. Paul Carr joins us now, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. He works at True Media Networks, where I believe he is the king of all media there. I believe is his title. You can follow him on Twitter at Paul Carr, P-A-U-L. That's how you spell Paul. It's the conventional way. You know, these kids go with strange spellings these days. And C-A-R-R for his last name. Paul, what's happening?
I'm good. My daughter likes to go to swim meets. She's a swimmer, so we'll go watch high schools. And one of them, there was one girl spelled her name P-Y-P-E-R-E this week, which is Piper somehow.
P-Y-P-P-R-E?
P-Y-P-E-R-E is Piper.
Wow.
I got one for my KML day. Should I
tell Kids these days.
Have I told this story from KML? I used to do a slow jam show, and I used to take requests. And, folks would call older, younger. And no, that's not that one I'm going to tell. This young girl, I was in my 20s. This young girl, she's probably in her teens at the time. She called in because she was adorable. She was always had great personality. She was like, she's like, I want to send a shout out to my boyfriend, whoever it was. I was like, who's this? She goes, you know who this is, Gil? Because she called a million times. She goes, it's Shaquandolin. I was like, okay, how do you spell your name? Not that I needed to know, but I was just curious. And she was like, why don't you try it? I was like, okay, S-H-A-Q-U. And she starts screaming at me. And she's like, S-H-E-K-W. And she just went off from there. L-Y-N-N-E-E. It was fantastic. Adorable girl. I wonder what Shaquandolin's doing these days. Hope she's okay.
Shout out to her.
Paul Carr is much easier. P-A-U-L-C-A-R-R. All right. Yep. You have one Prem pick for us. Tomorrow, what do you got?
We're just going to keep fading Tottenham because they haven't won a game since December 28th, winless in 15 straight in the Premier League. They gave up a stoppage time equalizer against Brighton last week, so they keep kind of inventing new ways to lose or at least not win. They're in the relegation zone, doesn't look good for them. So actually, this may be the first time all year I bet Wolverhampton. I will take the Wolverhampton double chance at plus 115 against Tottenham tomorrow. Wolves is already relegated. They haven't looked great the last couple games, but they're back at home. They beat Liverpool and Villa there in the last 6 weeks or so. So it's a little more vibey than usual, maybe for me. But I mean, I don't know how you can not bet against a team that hasn't won since almost Christmas. The last month of the season gets a little vibey. So I'll just take Wolverhampton double chance plus 115 against Tottenham.
The rare vibey bet from Paul Carr, Wolverhampton double chance versus Tottenham, a relegation special. With the Wolves definitely relegated and Tottenham fighting for their lives. 2 points behind West Ham for that final relegation spot, or ahead of, however you want to couch it.
Right.
All right. Now we talk about Premier League. We're familiar with the Champions League because you've told us about it for so many years. Top 4 in the Prem get to the Champions League. And then we talk about the draw and how fugazi that is, and we talk about it from year to year. And then once a year, we talk about the FA Cup. Explain to folks what that is, if you would.
FA Cup's a giant knockout tournament in English soccer that runs concurrently with the domestic season, the Premier League season. So they start with like 750 clubs, and this goes down to, Joe's YMCA or something can enter this if you pay the fee and get through the red tape and whatnot. And then the Premier League clubs, the second, third, fourth division, the pro teams come in later, a few rounds into the tournament. So we're down to the semifinals now. So we've got 3 Premier League teams and a championship team remaining here. But this is, I guess, imagine if there were in college basketball, if all of Division 1, Division 2, Division 3 had a giant knockout tournament that kind of ran, from November to March, and all in, just one game and done. That's kind of what we have here.
Okay. So let's start with a game tomorrow. Man City, and this always trips me out, right? Like American sports fans can't wrap our heads around this. So this is like, give us an American sports equivalent to this. That's that's always my follow-up question. What's this like?
Let's pause the regular season for college basketball and go play a knockout game. So if you ran the NCAA tournament essentially concurrent with the regular season, and those were just kind of separate competitions, that's what we have here.
But then they play like NBA teams and stuff too. This is right. Because it's all the different levels.
Yeah, you run NBA Cup simultaneous with the regular season, but you also bring in, I was going to say CBA, but that doesn't exist. The G League or, whatever other semi-pro type of league you want into that tournament. You'll end up with NBA teams at the end probably, but it's some fun getting there.
Okay, so put us in the heads of the players who are playing for Man City. They're deadlocked with Arsenal at 70 points atop the Premier League table with 5 matches left. And now they go play this FA Cup game. I don't know why I have so much trouble with that. FA Cup semi against Southampton. Are they mentally into this?
At this point, yes. I don't tend to bet FA Cup much early on because you just don't know what's a lineup going to look like. A lot of teams the Premier League teams will try to get through the first few rounds with, kind of their reserve team or something like that before bringing out the big guns once you get into the, round of 16 quarterfinals, wherever it might be. But at this point, it's the semifinals, obviously. You can taste the trophy. This game is at Wembley. This is not a home game for either teams. This is a big one. So you can pretty much treat this just like any A-team game for all the teams that are left.
Okay, and so you have the under 3.5 goals, Man City and Southampton.
Yeah, so Southampton, familiar name if you followed English soccer. They're in the championship, the second division this season, playing fairly well, unbeaten in 20 straight games. They're in 4th place. City is obviously playing well themselves, now up first place in the Premier League for the first time since August. But they're not blowing the doors off people like they have been. In the last 22 games, they've only scored 4 goals themselves once, and 16 of those games had 3 or fewer total goals. They're not going to have Rodri probably in the midfield, so they lose a little bit of control. And Southampton has some injuries and some missing players at the back, so I think they'll try to keep this tight. This I think will be kind of a cagey final type of game. Maybe we saw a little bit of a preview in how Man City Arsenal went, where both teams kind of felt each other out, and it slowed down a little bit at times. So I think we'll have a final type of game. This is at Wembley, so under 3.5 minus 130.
Okay,
and I should add, this is a 90-minute bet because this game could go to extra time. This is a 90-minute bet.
Always a good clarification. And then Sunday, Leeds and Chelsea. How are you playing this?
Yeah. I'm taking Leeds to advance at plus 135. So this is a advance however they advance, whether it's win the game outright, win in extra time, win or advance on penalties. This is the to advance or to qualify market, some books will call it. Chelsea is a disaster. I mean, choose your bad American franchise, and Chelsea makes them look competent by comparison. They're down to 7th in the Premier League. They sacked their manager again for the second time this season on Wednesday. They've lost 5 straight league games without scoring for the first time since 1912. That's not good. Lots of injuries, suspensions for Chelsea. So this is really just a fade Chelsea, kind of like fading Tottenham. Like, I have no reason to believe in Chelsea. So they'll probably win this game by 3 goals or something ridiculous. But I will take Leeds to advance at plus 135.
All right. So in the Prem tomorrow, Wolverhampton double chance, plus 115 versus Tottenham. And then in the FA Cup, tomorrow, Man City, Southampton under 3.5 goals. And Sunday in the FA Cup semis, Leeds to advance, plus 135 versus Chelsea. Paul, always a pleasure. Good luck with all the bets. We'll be tailing you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Paul Carr, you too.